Hi, it's Tracy from Two Rocks Tarot with a walkthrough of the Circle of Life Tarot. The artwork is by Maria Di Stefano and it's by Lescarbro. It comes in a circle box, so this is the new edition. I've had this on pre-order for a few months now, and it's finally rocked up in the most hugest box you could ever imagine. So the good thing about this is it's an actual circle box. I don't know why they don't make decks that come in the circle. So it's got the ribbon to get the cards out easily. It's got a little indent in there where the book sits in. The book is the typical one with all the different the different languages and everything in there. The size of it is, this is a New Earth tarot, so as you can see it is just marginally bigger, not too bad. The cardstock is it's not as thick as the New Earth because it's got a beautiful matte buttery feeling, where this is more glossy and shiny, but it's actually fine. As you can see, the backs are absolutely gorgeous. It's a beautiful mandala on there, and I do apologise for the bird in the background, but I just couldn't I haven't got a stable table in my front room. Well, I've got a desk, but to actually film, to show the cards like this, it's the phone stand won't stand on it, so I'm doing it in the kitchen. So it's about 6 o'clock, so hopefully he's going to stop chattering, but he probably won't. So we'll just have to put up with it. I'll see if I can adjust it in the sounds. The cardstock is very, very not flimsy, but it's thin, but it's not. So I don't know if you can see the thickness, the difference compared to the New Earth. There you go. So it's not too bad. It's quite flexible. So here we have got the full card. So I'll just get that in the middle there so you can see it. So it's a little bit different to what we normally have of the full. I should turn it so it's nice and straight. So there you go. So instead of the token dog, we've actually got the cat that's biting the leg as he's going to fall off the edge. This deck is actually more Fae orientated than I thought, so it really does give me a Lord of the Rings type of vibe. I haven't actually used it yet because I've had quite a few decks coming in actually, and I don't know what to use. But I really love that it came in a circular box. I don't know why they don't do that more when circle decks come. So here we've got the Fool. There we go, there's the neck. Actually, I'm just going to, because they're very slippery, I'm just going to take it off and just put the card in like that. That's probably the best way to do it, because it's all just going to, I don't know if it's going to all fly off actually. So here we have got the, oh my goodness, the Magician. And so here we have that's portrayed as a wizard. So I really love all the flowers and everything around him, and I really do like this deck. The first time I saw this deck was on Tarot Alchemist, who actually had this one, and I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. We've got the High Priestess, and I really like the High Priestess because this one, why I like this particular High Priestess one, because it says in the books, it's got a shaman sits in a lotus position for 2 pillars, but this here is showing that she is actually connected to her intuition, to the forces others cannot see. She's the divine truth and guards it with her life. So I really like this connection because it looks, it looks like legs up in the air, but I think it's more portrayed as being, your intuition. So I suppose if you turned it upside down, actually let's turn it upside down and see what it looks like. So you can see it's all, yeah, you know what I'm trying to get across. You can actually see now that she's sitting this way type of thing. So I don't know, I just thought that was really, really good. So here we got the Empress. And I kind of think this is interesting portrayal of the Empress. She's got a hand on a mirror. She's looking, instead of looking at reflections, she's looking over her shoulder at what is beside her. Here it says she's rejecting the image for the beauty of what is around her, which is, I think that's quite poignant actually, because we often forget to do that, don't we? We're so focused on what we want to achieve and what we want to do in life, we don't actually look at what's around us, the beauty that's around us. We're too focused on what we want to do, on our goals. There's a little, sort of like a little fey creature there's resting on his, lying down, resting on his arms. head in hands looking at her. So I think that's a great actual portrayal of the Empress. Here is the Emperor card. Quite like this one too. I like all the I really like all the creatures. I really didn't realise that it was such a Fae orientated deck, but I'm very, very happy with it. I really am. And of course, here we've got the Hierophant. Bit of the original. I suppose, you know, they could have done something slightly more different when you think about with the Hierophant. Could have been a bit more Fae-like, more, I don't know, not so, because it kind of is a little bit too religious for my liking, but, you know, it's not too bad. The Lovers. I'll just get rid of the other decks underneath it because it is very, very slippery. That's probably better. So everyone can see that. Then we got the Lovers. The Chariot. Again, that's a real traditional type of a chariot, I suppose, is what I'm trying to get out. Here we have got a Justice. It's got the Mermaid of Justice. This is a different type of justice. I don't think I've ever seen a mermaid type of justice before. Again, you know, I think if you're sort of doing like a Fae type of a deck, I think it should have been more with an Earth type of a portrayal of justice instead of an actual mermaid. I think they should have sort of stuck with one theme throughout, and I think that would have been more of the Summerlands instead of going from the earth to the sea, and then indeed even with the chariot, you know, having the sphinxes there, even though they are, you know, often portrayed that way. But I think a couple of steeds would have been much better. Because here we got the Hermit. That's your typical hermit, very Gandalf-like that one is. And here we got the portrayal of the, oh my gosh, the Wheel. I quite like this one. And there's a snake in the mouth, carried on the back of a beetle. It's quite different. I quite enjoy that. Looking at that one, it's really nice. And we've got Strength. So it's more of a Hercules wrestling type of thing, even though it's an actual woman that's doing it. But that's what it gives me the vibe of Hercules rather than the gentle strength. This is quite a fierce type of strength, which I think I kind of like as well, because that's what strength is, isn't it? It's about being fierce. It's not always about being gentle. Sometimes you do need to be fierce. Here we've got the Hanged Man. And here we've got Death, holding a newborn child. I really like this Death card too. I like the way it's kind of set in a spiral, in a tunnel, you know, that everyone, you know, people who've come back from, excuse me, near-death experiences say that they see. And of course, you know, we come down a tunnel when we are born too, don't we? It's a happy little thing. Here we've got Temperance, which is portrayed as an archangel. Again, I mean, it does look Fae, but, you know, they could have, I suppose, made it a little bit more Fae-like. Here we've got the Devil, the very typical type of devil, though this devil looks quite bored. We've got the Tower. Quite alien-like, actually, them two are. Of course, they always have to turn around, don't we? So this is the Star, of course. It's quite pretty, this one. I quite like this one. The Moon. And she's riding on a squid in this one. Cradling the earth in her arms. I quite like that. But again, yeah, it's sort of, it seems to go from the land to the sea, but very not consistently. Here we've got the Sun. And, oh gosh, Judgment. No, sorry, it's not Judgment. Yes, it is Judgment. What am I talking about? Judgment? It's a different portrayal. I kind of like the way the Judgment is kind of wrapped around the world. I think that's pretty cool. And then we come to the World, which I really like, this World card. I really, really like it because it's got all the animals all the way around it. I just think it's beautiful. I really enjoy that one. He's listening to me. That's why he's singing away. And then we come to the Minor card. So this is the Ace of Cups. Now this, it'd be interesting to see if this is all the sea, because, I mean, I can understand having a sea theme when it comes to the cups. So let's see if they keep up with it. Looks like they do. We got the Two of Cups here. It's quite interesting, isn't it? It seems to be a crab, I think they are. Let's just have a look. This is actually, even though this is how it's being packed, but it's actually started off with the swords, so it's interesting. So let me see if they're crabs. I think they are crabs. Doesn't actually say. But I really like this one. Although they do not share the same skin colour, they see into the heart and soul of each other and know that they have met their match. I think that's beautiful. And we've got the Three of Cups, a different type of interpretation to the three, to being in meditation. Not the usual celebration that you get in, which I kind of like as well, because the Three of Cups isn't always about celebrating either. It can be about three different choices as well, three very different emotional choices. And we've got the Four of Cups, just a typical Four of Cups. And again, it looks like to be on the sand there. I quite like the Five of Cups. I like the face and the starfish. I think that's awesome. The big nose, the little eyes. But interestingly, it's it's kind of on an angle as well, the face, which I don't know how I feel about that. And then we've got the Six of Cups. It's quite trippy, this one, isn't it? Bunch of seahorses, mandala of seahorses and mermen. We've got the Seven of Cups. It's quite beautiful, that one. But now it's saying that it's at a river instead of being in the sea. We've got the Eight of Cups. Very different portrayal of the Eight. I quite like that, actually. I think that's quite awesome. Got the Nine of Cups. And then we come to the 10, which is quite different as well. I've got a huge chalice on the bowl on the top of her head there. Very different, isn't it, that one? What does it say? Oh, it's actually a man. Sits upon an armoured fish, raising his hands out in celebration. The fish coils protectively around him, which is all around there. You have to really look at these cards sometimes to figure out exactly what it is that you're looking at. And then we come to the Knave of Cups. Someone who's been carried into the air by birds. Different, isn't it? And come to the Knight. So you can see what it is by the little, the symbols on either side. And this is a really good way too for figuring out directions. With my Dreamtime Oracle, the original one, it's got a little a hand up there, and it says if it's between the numbers of 9 and 3, you consider it to be upright. 12 and 3 upright, but it's between 12 and 9, it's considered to be reversed. No, not reversed. It can go either way, and when it's completely reversed, of course, it's reversed. So it's quite handy to have them there as well. And then here we've got, I believe this one is the, that one's the Queen. Sometimes it's hard to tell by the actual crowns. So it's very hard to see the Queen, but that's her hair. There's the dolphin there, and there's her body around. So sometimes you've really got to look. I think this particular reading with these cards is something you're going to have to really look closely at and get, to really take in the whole picture. Behind here, we've got someone that's, like hiding behind, the throne here as well, quite hidden. Even then, they're not actually looking at the king. It's quite interesting. The little dog at his feet asleep. Okay, now we come to the Pentacles. There's Ace of Pentacles. It's quite cute. Interesting that they have acorns. Often the wands actually have the acorns in other suits, particularly in the German type based ones. We've got the Two of Pentacles. I really like this deck. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun working with it. The 3 one, that kind of looks funny. Almost look like little gremlins, don't they? Little turbans on their head. We've got the 4 of Pentacles. This is interesting portrayal. Actually trying to keep someone out instead of, you know, hoarding the treasures. But are they trying to break? What are they trying to break into, sort of thing? It's quite interesting. They're trying to break into your life. Are they literally trying to steal something from your house? It's very interesting, that one. Actually, let's have a look. What does it say in the book? Has it got Pentacles? Where are we? That's the Wands. It's all over the shot, actually. What's the Swords? Where's the Pentacles in this book? Must be right at the back. There we go. What's it say? A demon presses in on the door while an angel struggles to keep it outside. The door has already been knocked off its hinge. The angel presses hard against the door but is losing ground. 4 symbols hang on the wall around the door, acting as wards. So it goes on to say that the angel has a huge challenge ahead of him. Will he be able to keep the grey demon out of his room, or will his energy fail him? He presses against the board in a way that suggests that he's conserving his energy. The discs on the wall contain symbols of balance, longevity, and desire. This card suggests that we must defend ourselves from the things that we want to take away, from the things that we want to take away what we have. Couldn't quite read that then. Here we've got the 5 of Pentacles. I quite like that one too, knitting along. It's a long cable filled with esoteric symbols. This work is in process, been going on for some time, for the fabric's long. The person seated looks worried, as if she's unable to finish her masterpiece. So it's very, very different. I really like this deck. I keep saying that, don't I? But it's the first time I've actually sat down and had a look at it in any detail, because like I said, I've had so many decks coming in. Here we've got the 6. It's kind of sweet. The grandmother, her daughter, and then her, don't know if that's a boy or a girl, but that's what I'm thinking. But let's have a look what they say. 2 children, okay, find themselves comforted by the touch of an elder. A baby is being held by an older girl. The girl is wrapped in purple string. She's being touched by the old woman. So the persons on this card face their own challenges. The sleeping children are restless. The elder is tired but forfeits her sleep to comfort and reassure the children. The clothing they wear keep them warm, while the coldness of their surroundings disturbs their sleep. The companionship they offer one another is also a resource they can draw from. The lesson of this card is that it's important to take the care of needs of others. Yeah, I really see that as you know, the mother of this child. This is how I'm looking at it. This is the grandmother. It's like the triple, you know, the matriarch type of thing. I don't know. That's what it's giving the vibe off to me. Here we've got the 7 of Pentacles. I quite like this. You know, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Every time I shush him, he looks at me. Hey, the 8 of Pentacles here. I quite like this little, God knows what that's supposed to be. And what does it say? Does it say anything about what that is? Necklace of beads. So, some of the beads have wings and feet. I just think that's cute. Then we got the 9. 9 of Pentacles. This is a fairy working on a mandala. It's quite beautiful, isn't it? Then we come to the 10. Looks to be a woman who is giving birth, to a young son, still attached to the umbilical cord. It's quite beautiful, that one. Come to the Knave of Pentacles. Again, it's really hard to see, but he's actually sort of walking through the snake. It's very, very hard to make out sometimes. And we've got the knight, we've got a shaman that's sitting in the circle of stone circle. I thought I was going to sneeze then. And I did. I love that. That's quite beautiful. And then here we got the queen sitting on a mushroom. The eye in her palm there. It's supposed to be raised in protection. Interesting. Here we have got the king. It looks very much like a female, but it says it's a male. And now we come to the wands. This is the Ace of Wands. I absolutely adore this. I just love it, you know, like it's a baby and a bird in an egg. I think it's absolutely fabulous. It's really, really different, isn't it? I wonder what it says about that. Just want to see what it says. 2 babies rest inside the womb of a single egg. One is human and holds a seedling. The other is a bird. They nestle together in a yin-yang shape. How can one egg contain enough nutrients to sustain 3 life forms? Is their final size before they learn to hatch out of their egg? The growing children have figured out how to give each other as much space as they need while they continue to grow. Their creativity helps them. This card seems to say that the seeds of creation require creativity to grow and mature. I think that's quite beautiful. I really, really like that. And how it can be, you can have so many different ways of creating too, can't you? You know, you can literally create by having a child, but you can also you can this reminds me of channeling, like, you know, getting in touch with your what do they call it, totem animal sort of thing. I don't know, it really speaks to me, that card. I can't get my words out. The 2 of Wands. You got the 3. Really love that. It looks awesome. So some very different meanings in the book, but they really suit the card. I really, you know, you all know me that I don't go by, I just noticed that the lighting has disappeared on here, hasn't it? I don't know if that will help. That doesn't help at all. Why is it so dark? I don't know. See if I can fix that up anyway. So here we've got the 4 of Wands. Got the 5 of Wands. 5 of Wands. Just try to make the lighting of it. It's because of the trees that are coming through on there. I'll see if I can fix it up with a filter. Here we've got the 6 of Wands. The 7. The 8 of Wands. It's kind of weird, the 8 of Wands, because look at that. What is it on earth is he holding? It looks like actually looks like a male, doesn't it? She holds a face in her hands. It's kind of weird, isn't it? You got the 9 of Wands, quite trippy. The 10 of Wands. Just going to see, I'll turn on the kitchen light, see if that helps. I did have the light on before, but then then you get the little spot in there, so that doesn't really do any good, does it? We'll switch that off and press it here, and I'll pop see if we can get a filter on it there. We got the Knight of Wands. Oh, sorry, not the Knight. That was the Knave of Wands. This is the actual Knight. The Knave being the page. Got the Queen. And then there's the King, which is quite different, isn't it? Very strange creatures, but that's something right up my alley. Then we come to the Swords, and we come to the Ace of Swords. So this is very different to have a portrayal of a pregnant woman for the Ace of Swords, because we usually think of, you know, swords being air, but yeah, I really think that's quite different. Let's see what it says, anything about the swords on here, but the Ace. I think that was the very first one, wasn't it? The Swords. Yeah, interesting. Here we got the Two of Swords. Quite different with the face actually in the elephant there. Very different. Why have they made that like that? Woman lays on the head of an elephant, holding her swords out to protect the creature. They blend together, almost creating a new one. So she's actually laying on it. Ah, very interesting. Then we've got the Three of Swords. The Four of Swords, quite like that, the meditating. The Five of Swords. I love that, actually. Six of Swords. It's very different. The Seven of Swords. It's the Eight. Actually chipping away. I quite like that portrayal as well, chipping his way out. And we've got the Nine of Swords. This is a really good way of portraying of nightmares, because we all have all sorts of things happening if we do have a nightmare, don't we, in our dreams? Let me tell you, I've been having weird dreams. Here we've got the Ten of Swords. And we've got the Knave. The Knight. Looks like very much like a movie that I watched called John Carter, the alien type creature on there. We've got the Queen. And our final card is the King of Swords. So hopefully I can fix up the lighting in that when I do some editing. If not, I'm going to have to do the whole bloody thing all over again. But there you have it, the Circle of Life Tarot. Absolutely awesome deck. I'm really looking forward to working with this deck. Until next time, this is Tracy.